You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia. And for all you new listeners tuning in, like, I don't know, someone like Michael Cutting perhaps, welcome to the Table of Truth, where we expose all just for shits and giggles, because, damn it, that's what we do. You see, that's the thing about truth. When you stand in it, nothing gets in your way. And you can stand with your hands on your hips and get all angry and have an all shaky voice. But I know that my shield is impenetrable and I am untouchable. You see, because I found Interstate 60. Yes, I did. And I want to share that with you guys tonight, along with some real fun stuff that I experienced today as part of being on Interstate 60, and not only thinking it, but knowing that I was on it. And we'll never leave this road. This is the road home. And for those that are, interested in their God status, just, curl up with a nice blanket or something if you're in a cold area, or out in a lawn chair if you're somewhere hot, whatever, and belly up to the truth here, because we're going to have some fun tonight as I go through some beautiful allegories as to how the system just cut its last remaining thread over the bottomless pit and shall fall into the nether regions once and for all. Because, we're done with it. At least, sorry. You see, the real me is at the helm now. And all I had to do was trust me. And like I said to myself in the way, anytime I go, it's like, home, James, and don't spare the horses. And for those that have been tuned in for a while, you know exactly what I mean when I say don't spare the horses, right? The horse. You see, I can't, because that would be a trespass on the free will choice to have an experience lesser than what you're probably really wanting, but then you have to be in a state of awareness to know what you truly want. And if you're caught up in the anger and the mirror of how do you put it? This is the thing. Anytime I'm conversing with someone, especially face to face, it's always a situation where I sit mostly in puzzlement of how literal and how deep points of consciousness still are in the game. And really, there is no point in talking with people like this on any level. So I don't cast pearls before the swine, because they just won't get it. You see, because everyone is too wrapped up in having an opinion. See, an opinion is an ego position. I equate it very much like sitting in front of a 5-year-old kid that just got caught breaking a window and is trying to blame somebody else for it. You see. Sorry, I know you broke the window, and you can lie all you want, because I can see right through you. That's the nature of Interstate 60. You see, this is where I get to be O.W. Grant. Yeah, there's a big difference, right? That's who you are. You are O.W. Grant. And the other part of you, the doubter, is Neil. And just a coincidence that was his name. This is when you kneel to the truth. And that's exactly what the characters did. When you know how to watch these things properly instead of being entertained, right? Enter the mirror mind. I just chose to step through the thin tin mirror, which is what a tane is, and observe it from the other side. Now, for anyone that's interested, listen closely tonight. If you want to find Interstate 60, I can show you how. It's really, 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 really easy. It is so easy you won't believe it. That's exactly why we've all had so much trouble finding this. And I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but Sivan Bomer did get a hold of me yesterday about coming on. I told him anytime, because that's James. Don't spare the horses. Get your ass over here. Let's have a chat, because I know who the characters are in the movie, and I know who's playing what role, right? So, sorry guys, I just got some noise in the background. I'm having a hell of a time trying to focus here. What was I going to say there? Oh yeah, getting back to Interstate 60. Yeah, and I mean that quite literally. You see, this is where you step out of being the driver of the car, where you change basis with O.W. Grant, and you let O.W. Grant do all the driving, and you'll never get out of the car again. Let's talk about what happened today, because I had a lot of interesting experiences today, watching all of the signs as they just told me exactly what's happening and what's going on, and then even funnier, why. And it was perfect, even to the point of watching a cab go past me just before I got back here. DC Cab, right, was the name on the side of it, because it had to be. It's so funny. And, oh, look, the DC Cab is past now. P-A-S-T, not P-A-S-S-E-D. So I will choose which phonetic sound I want to infer into my reality, into my creation. And, of course, James, the driver, is going to drive me straight through that without sparing any horses. So I had a gift sent to me by a very dear friend, and it was a substantial gift. I've already been able to help people, and I'm going to help so many more. This is the joy of transmutation, and the whole idea of not paying it for it, but keeping a mote ion rolling. You see, the universe loves a body in mote ion, not mote shun. And with that, just that little understanding, you will now have reclaimed a fair bit of your spell casting ability. For those that don't actually get what it is I'm saying, well, you're not ready for it yet. Then don't worry, you will be. You will be. When you're ready, when you choose to find peace and calm. Here's a little word to the wise. I just asked Arthur to add me back to the green room and the lighthouse, the two main rooms. I'm going to give everyone a warning, because I don't like monkey chatter. Right? The jaw was broke off that pipe, the monkey pipe that O.W. Grant likes to smoke. And any monkey chatter that I see in the room, henceforth, involving anything legal, involving any processes, involving anyone that is still using legal processes by name or character, you will be instantly and irrevocably removed from the room. Because, I created these rooms a long time ago, and I am tired of leaving my own room because of the monkey chatter. So here is creation on my terms. If you are part of that and you cannot handle these terms, then I will ask you to simply leave in peace, or accept the terms of the monkey chatter nonsense removal, because you are keeping yourself and others, more importantly, from Interstate 60. And I'm intolerant of that. You're trespassing on free will choice. Most importantly, and the only one that I'm really concerned with, is me. If you want to step on my free will choice, well, I will show you how creation works. And that's not an arrogant position. That's just merely this. I don't come over to your house and shit on your front porch. So please, don't come to mine. Anyway, getting back to what happened today. It was quite funny. And as many of you know, a very dear friend of mine has been helping me out for a while to make it possible for me to exist in any sense of the word, in terms of donations, which you guys have kept me alive for the last year and a half. And as a result of the kindness that Vicky showed in helping me that way, there was that gift that was sent through that of course raised some red flags to the bank, because they don't getting debt, especially legitimate debt, you see, because the individual that sent it is one of the most legitimate people I've ever found on this planet, with a very pure intent. And I knew that the instant I heard the voice. So let's unfurl the curtain and show what really, really, really is going on. As a net result of this gift, flags went up, and of course, a certain customer service manager, if you want to call it manager, I have no idea. I've never seen such shoddy customer service in my life, especially one who is claiming that, well, we had to send it through the fraud department, and we had to do this and check it for that and check it for the other, only to find at the end of the rainbow that everything was perfectly legit, from a perfectly legitimate source, full honor to a perfectly legitimate account for a perfectly legitimate reason that was of a perfect, none of anyone else's business but parties concerned. Yet people like Michael Cutting, who has cut the lifeline to the literal banking system today, I'm so grateful. Thank you for that. You know the role you've played. I do. I cast the spells, and I know how to do it. And I change my reality because that's what O.W. Grant does. And I grant all your wishes, Michael. You see, because even after all was said and done today, see, what's really bothering him right now is the fact that I'm only saying the truth. And he knows. And no amount of belligerence, no amount of arrogance, no amount of tantrum-throwing child that has to turn around with a shaky voice and throw their hands on their hip. I know he didn't hurt himself. I know that. Muffin Top has that effect. You really need to get suspicious, my friend. Sorry, I'm a girl. I notice these things. Anyway, and you have to do something about that shaky voice of yours, because only a child in fear has a voice so shaky. But anyway, as a net result of all the kindness that came flowing towards me, Kate of Gaia, through V and through the contacts and whatever, this customer service entity decided that they're going to close the accounts. Isn't that funny? I guess that just says it all for me, that it proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that the banking world wants nothing to do with legitimate intent. And of course, you know me, I like planting little seeds here and there. I mean, Michael, you don't understand that the very name, the legal name you're using is fraud, and that you are in a spiritual web of deceit, and you are in hook, line, and sinker, you know? And of course, it didn't matter to you the net effect of your choices, you know. And no, I don't have anything against the bank, you see, because the bank is a dead corporate entity. It doesn't exist. It's just an idea. No. This is where people have the biggest problem of taking the responsibility for the choices and the words and the effects they create through, I would say, misaligned choices. And even after, and I don't need to get into any details because this individual knows exactly what happened in the conversation today. You see, here's the joy, and I know we're well over 1 million tuned in every night. I know that. I don't care what the numbers say, because I know the numbers are fudged with. And I know that they've laxed off a couple of times, you know, thinking that we're not on the air, and walk away and go get yourself a beer and smoke a bowl, come back, and all of a sudden there's 675,000 people tuned in to a show that started 35 minutes late. That should tell you something, shouldn't it? Not everybody was there. But anyway, so here's the thing I love about doing what I do with truth, knowing that I'm fully impervious to any antics of any customer service rep who is a slave to a master, and whose master is a slave to another master, and especially under a dead fictional corporate heading. You see, you cannot create the bank in my universe because I know it's fictitious. I know it's just an idea. I know it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't exist. It's not real. However, the people that are working behind the scenes that have done these things, they're very real, and I know how to own them now. And by the way, I'm really happy that you were so willing to give up your goat today. It was so very easy to do that. All I had to do was plant one little seed. And see, here's the thing about vampires. It works both ways. You have to invite them in. So thank you for inviting me in to your office, where I can drain the very lifeblood of the entire system as a result. Thank you for giving me your goat. I'll give it back when I'm good and ready, because you're not ready for it, and that's okay. And here's the other funny part, too. this is why I laugh at it, all things legal. You see, I'm not a legal entity. Haven't been for a very long time, and I know why. I am full on God status. And what a beautiful place to be. Interstate 60 all the way. So don't spare the horses, indeed. I got out my number 11 scalp L and scalped the system today. Because here's the irony. In closing that account, what the system did was it cut its own throat. What it did was it cut the last remaining perceived lifeline to Kate of Gaia. You see, it wasn't the system holding me up, it was me holding the system up. But it had to be a free will choice. They had to cut their own thread, their own lifeline. So now I have absolutely no access through any means, electronically, within that system. And they did it to themselves. Isn't that funny? Is it a coincidence that your name is Cutting? Is it a coincidence that your little branch of a monstrous, fraudulent tree is basically a fart on the zit on the back side of a system? I mean, really, you're in orange vial, whatever you want to say. You know, this is the orange and the green, you see. And, see, I live in the green. I live in the heart. Seriously, Mr. Cutting? How many times have I said that we're not on the cutting edge here, boys and girls? We are the cutting edge. Of course, I had to find the scissors, and I found those today. My call, Cutting. Yes, you did. Thank you. Bottomless pit. Woo! There you go. The whore of Babylon. The horse of Babylon. You won't be riding that pony for long. It's crippled. It's done. And I want to say thank you very much as well, because with that kind of customer service, and by the way, your boss will be getting a little email outlining the physical intention of threat that you presented numerous occasions. And here's the worst part, my friend. I don't need my daddy or my mommy. You might call them lawyers and stuff like that, because they're idiots. I don't need anyone to fight my battles. You see, I take care of that peacefully all by myself. You see, I don't need someone to wipe my ass, and I certainly don't need someone to fight for me. Okay? So, good luck with that. And here's the real clincher. You see all these lawyers and judges and cops and everybody else? You'd be hard-pressed to find one of them on this planet that doesn't know Kate of Gaia. As I said to you today, my friend, Google Kate of Gaia. You will see Kate of Gaia is the #1 hit there. I was going to Google Michael Cutting, but I can pretty much assure myself that there probably won't be much, maybe other than a Facebook or something. So that's what you're dealing with, my friend, and you got to sit face to face with an angel today, and you spat on it. I grant your wish. Go forth and multiply, because you are the first domino of them all. You get the honor seat. And I know you don't care with what kind of turmoil you might create between two people, i.e. Vicky and her husband, by closing their accounts and creating all sorts of animosity. When I brought that up to you today, you didn't give a rat's ass. So here, I'm going to grant your wish on that one too. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm going to grant your wish. Granted. That's what O.W. Grant does, you see. And sometimes when I take a shine to people, abundance shows up. It always does. I don't have abundance. I am abundance. And I'm learning this more and more every day from a position of humility that I'm sure someone like you could not even fathom. Because it didn't matter what I was saying. Your left brain was going chitter, chatter, chitter, chatter. As soon as I mentioned I have the power to make heroes and villains, you automatically said, "Are you threatening me?" Why would I be threatening you? I told you, there's your choices. You want to be a hero in the movie or a villain? It's up to you. I will make either of you. And unfortunately, tonight, you're not the hero because you didn't choose that. You had all of the choices in front of you, things that you could have done. I think at one point you even said to Vicky that you were going to bat for her. Yeah, you were, but you didn't clarify that you were taking the bat to Vicky and Bob's heads and their child. But that's okay. I made it worth Bob's while to go open an account somewhere else. And don't worry, I won't need that. And thank you, Vicky. And thank you, everyone. I'm your co-creation, and my gratitude is boundless. The floodgates are open. And those that are still wishing ill upon others will get flooded, but it won't be the kind of flood they like. You see, the heroes and the villains, you get to choose the role you want to play, and I always give people the free will choice to choose either. And I am glad for either choice, because in either choice, we all win. It's a better world. So if you do the right thing, it's a better world. And if you do the wrong thing, well, you get crushed by the universe. That's just the way things work. You see, I don't stand on this man-made shite. Oh, a threat has been detected. I love it. I don't wish ill upon anyone. I simply grant your wish. And when you come back at me and say, well, you're threatening me, you're calling me, that's why that came up. You're calling me a villain. I said I didn't call you anything. But that's what's in your mind, you see. That's the goat I got, by the way, so I put that in my purse, and I'll save that for another day. You see, people will always tell you the truth. They will always tell you the truth. You simply just have to give them the choice and let their cookie jar go crazy. Let their monkey chatter just go off the grid. And only someone with something to hide would be worried about, a recording of a conversation, much like I talked about with Jim Macris there a little while back. Oh, no, I don't worry about recording conversations. Because it's recorded in the consciousness, you see. And the consciousness never forgets. And you will get every wish that you ask for from whatever level of awareness you're at. I promise you. It's a fact. I know how the spells are cast. I know how they're broken. And I know where Interstate 60 is, and that's the only road I'm driving on now. It's great. If you want to know peace, pay close attention. Because as unbelievable as it sounds, and I know people like Michael Cutting and others will not get this, they got a long way to go in terms of their own ignorance to come into the light for themselves, of which I hope they do. Of course I do. That's the win-win. And regardless, I'm not going to free will trespass on free will choice for those individuals to experience their very bumpy roads coming. And they will be bumpy. I know mine was. Difference being is I stood on the side of truth. And I knew at all points, deep down within me, I knew at all points that I was fine. I might not have been comfortable sometimes. And like tomorrow is the 2nd anniversary of the Guelph police members, part of that club, kidnapping me in front of my home. At gunpoint, no less. Without uniforms in their own cars. I think that's pretty funny, actually. Can you imagine that, Mirror? Woo! Your wish is granted. Tomorrow's a big day. You see, lots of wonderful things happen on February 11th. And I'll tell you why. Well, 2 years ago tomorrow, that's the kidnapping. A year ago tomorrow, Pope Benedict stepped down. Can you feel it? I'm on Interstate 60 and my foot's to the floor. My hands aren't even close to the wheel. As I was describing the other day to someone, you got people talk about being on a roller coaster ride. Of course it is. The only thing I would suggest people to do is that steering wheel that you have in the roller coaster car, take it out. It's not working for you. Don't worry, the roller coaster knows the way home. That's James. He'll take you right back to the beginning, and it'll be beautiful. And but you don't have to think this. You don't have to believe this. You have to know this, and you have to trust yourself to that degree. I trust me, the real me, not the programs, all the chitter chatter monkey shit. So I step back from it, And I start watching now. I have for a long time, but really, to this degree, God, guys, it just gets better every day. And I know so many of you are seeing this for yourselves. You're on Interstate 60 and you know it. Now, people that are actually beyond rude. You know Hannibal, what he thought of rude people, right? Now, there's the physical allegory of my spiritual. Hannibal liked to eat rude people physically. That's not my thing. Right? That's what the system's been doing forever, cannibalizing us. Me? I'll eat you spiritually. Thank you. Yummy, yummy. Unfortunately, for some of the things that I don't like, I just spit in the garbage, right? The spiritual garbage, which is basically thought removed. And that's the joy of doing this, because I stand in universal law. It's the untouchable stuff. And you can't get there unless you stand in truth. You will never stand in universal law if you are not standing in truth. So, as promised, I thanked Mr. Cutting graciously for delivering what was rightfully, legitimately, and to use the terms very loosely, legally and lawfully, what belonged to me. And others. For actually doing your job. I'm guessing that is the first time in banking history that a transaction of pure light and love intent has taken place. It was quite something to behold. But I certainly wouldn't want to be you, Michael. Seriously closing accounts on people because they do something legitimate? I hate to see what you do with money laundering guys in the back room, where that's what banks do. They call it white collar crime. You know, slap on the wrist kind of thing. And that's the master you serve. See, that's the difference. I serve all. And so, at the same time. I don't differentiate. And that's why I can grant your wish. Careful what you wish for. Because like O.W. Grant says, sometimes he's a trickster. And sometimes if he takes a shine to you, things work out right. I'm thinking that maybe based on today's interaction and spewing of hate energy towards me, I don't think OW is going to take a shine to you. Because you didn't want to hear about the birth certificate name fraud. But I planted the seed. And I know you Googled my name, and I know you're listening right now. And you have the ability to change your ways, but that's going to be your choice, where you can become the hero or the villain. And please feel free. My cell phone number is 226-971-9675. But wait till after the show. I'm always here. Yeah, don't worry, my friend. The system knows me. Knows me very well. Judge bowed to me once. That video has been seen by tens of people. Sarcasm. I would hazard to say it's probably the most watched video in YouTube history. It's not because it's important to me. Nothing to do with that. I'll tell you why it was watched is because it's pure truth. And I've heard from many people that have talked to lawyers and whatever, and they've shit themselves looking at it. Yeah, a court doesn't work like it does on TV, my friend. You see, that's the illusion. And banks don't work like you think they do. But then you're too close and in the belly of the beast. How can you see it? I would urge you, do yourself a favor. Lessen your burden, let's say. And try to awaken yourself. Maybe put the big monster ego that put my fists on my hips and have my shaky voice inches from Kate of Gaia's face, with me smiling and looking at you going, it was funny, I turned to Vicky, she was on my left, and I said, look, he's even got his hands on his hips. Cool, eh? And then he started to talk again, and I said, hey, listen, his voice is shaking like a leaf. And I just looked back at him, and he stormed away. Because what else can a child do? Go off to your room and throw a tantrum. And while you're in your room, Google Creative Gaia. Go to creativegaia.wordpress.com. And go to the writings page and start at choices. Good start for you. And read. Read it all. And it is my wish that you understand. It is my wish that you remove the ignorance and the opinions. It is my wish that at some point I can turn around and display you as the hero instead of the villain. That's what I prefer. But again, either way, it's a better world. Because the villains are going down and the heroes are rising. The heroes. You won't understand that. That's phonics. You'd have to have a decent understanding of, things like Greek and English and German and French, Latin, Phoenician. And for those that have been at this table for a while, I know some of you are smirking and giggling, and I love it. I think it's awesome. Yeah, go ahead, Michael. Tell Vicky or hubby that they have 30 days to get their account out because, quite frankly, I think that's the last place they're going to be. And like I said, I made it worth Bob's while for the inconvenience. Me being a spiritual customer service type. And to ease any tensions that may have arisen between them. You see, that's what love does. That's law of truth, law ve, phonetics. And I'll tell you what hate does. Hate creates division. It creates animosity. It creates a shitty little existence like yours. Can't say as I've ever been exactly where you are, because even at my lowest points, I looked down at that and said, no, God, I wouldn't want to be that. Yeah. Best that you don't throw that word fraud around, especially the individual that you were insinuating. And then, of course, you insinuate with me. But you knew it was legitimate. And no matter how many lies you wanted to try to tell, and no matter how many things you tried to do to, brush it over kind of thing, sorry, the truth, me, I'll always come blinding through, and I'll make you own every fucking word. And when I say that, there are people right now that are going, ooh, because I know how to cast those spells. I know how to reverse them. So I grant your wish, my friend. So there you go. That was a fun day. That was a beautiful day, and I did pass the gratitude along as I promised. And isn't it amazing that when someone has nothing to lose, that was the beauty of today, how much power they wield. So if you're clinging to something, it owns you. You don't own it. Time to let go. And thank you for cutting the last thread that kept your entire system suspended over the bottomless pit. The horse of Babylon is fallen. And I like story time. How about you guys? Let's get these phones open. Let's have some fun here tonight. And we'll talk about the Yellow Brick Road, a.k.a. Interstate 60. And there's Michael. And, now you guys are jumping in. Once I got to clear my throat. There we go. Michael, how are you?
Hey, Kate. Hello.
What a day, man! It was a riot. It was beautiful. Oh, I haven't had that much fun. I got to tell you, that was the first time I set foot in a bank in probably 3 years.
Oh wow! You got that treat.
Well, I knew when I got to tell you, I knew that when I stepped back in a bank ever again, it would be to take the whole thing down. My call cutting. Well, that is your call, so cut. Thank you. Isn't that funny? All right, let's get these lines open here. I'm going to get everybody's line open. Let's just get it open tonight. For those that want to call in, you can call at 661-467-2401, and all and any lawsuits threatened will be laughed at. Thank you. Anyway, it's all fun.
So you want the humorous story first, or the my take on your day?
Well, I think in both cases it's going to be fun anyway. Win-win. Let me get the
first, because the other one, it was just I had my own so-called.
Hold your thought for a second. Let me get the lines open, and that way everyone knows they're in, and I don't have to interrupt you, and then you can take your story on. I've got 972, which come on, Texas.
Hey, it's Colin.
Colin, how are you? There you are. Okay, and I got illusion.
Good. Hey.
1 sec. Let me get the lines open,
great.
and we'll get you guys to jump in. All right. Illusion of separation. You're open. Area code 530, you're open, and yeah, that's everybody's mics open. So everybody say a quick hello, and then I'm going to get Michael to share 2 ridiculously funny stories.
Aloha from Maui.
Aloha from Maui. Okay, that's one. Anybody else want to say hi, seeing as your mics are open?
All right.
I guess, yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Okay, here we are. Brought to you by, so when people are working in banks, and generally these jobs that we're still playing with, what it comes down to, we can look at the system, and what they're basically doing is propping up the system. And what we could call them are order followers. So in this, when you're an order follower, it basically means, following order means doing what you're told to do without judging for yourself whether or not the action you're being ordered to carry out is right or wrong. So you can see it doesn't matter, following orders. Any responsibility there, they're just following orders. Well, it's funny how they do that in their job, but what is even in stepping on other people's free will. But then it goes into, other aspects of the life. And so if an individual is following orders, that individual cannot be exercising conscience. Since by definition, exercising conscience means that one is willfully choosing for themselves. And generally we're talking right or wrong. Is this harming someone, or is this not harming someone? Is this freedom life or not? And so this is just coming clearer. People can't hide behind, I was just following orders anymore. I mean, it's just base reality. Excuse me, you're just going to blame the system? Because, no, I was following orders. So you're blaming the system too? I'm not blaming the system anymore. So, now you can get off blaming the system. What are you, some conspiracy theorist? So,
hi, comedy.
Like this. So I was just following orders, and, I got to thank Mark Passio for putting some of what I'm quoting here, is never a valid excuse or justification for immoral criminal behavior. And this lame attempt to abdicate personal responsibility should never be accepted as a valid excuse for such behavior. So on just a human level, cut the bullshit, people. Quit using excuses, just following orders in any of this. Because in a way, for me, you're more the problem than the system. So, just wanted to get that off my chest. Thank you.
Well, see, that's what, Mike, you're absolutely right. Now let's really equate it to what it is. Basically, it is a dog being told to sit. And if that dog bites somebody else, right? And that's what you're saying. When someone comes at making the choice based on somebody else telling them to attack, right? If say a master was to say to their dog to attack someone in the street that was innocent, what would happen to that dog? That dog would get put down. So this is the whole thing in terms of the ethereal, and this is what is occurring because these supposed order-following dogs, that's all they are to me. They don't have a mind of their own. They certainly don't have a conscience to take responsibility for harming others. You put down those spirits, and you obliterate them so that the consciousness that is gone. And like I said, with me, I just get in. I'm in my cab. James has got the helm. The real me has got the helm, and I keep saying to myself, trust me? Of course I trust me. I'm gonna get to where I need to be because I trust me that much. And what happens then with people like this? They don't. Their points of consciousness that are so inert, so unable to create any sort of effect except by barking orders that were given to them. They're essentially ventriloquist dummies. That's all they are. And when the ventriloquist dummy's usefulness is gone, well, you just throw it out and get a new puppet. And that's essentially what's happening. So, but yeah, absolutely, Michael, you're right on the money.
Yeah. So now the funnier one. So I was standing in my garden, having a pee, and connecting with, the nature around me. And I sometimes like to bring this up with friends just to remind ourselves of the simple pleasures in life. And I tell you, after I finished peeing, I had one of those pees, where your body tingles and you just, it feels good. It was almost, I'm not going to compare it to an orgasm, but it's its own pleasure in its own right, and it lasted longer than most, times I had an orgasm. And so just the simple pleasure of peeing in the garden was such a joy to me.
Oh, that's good.
So please, there's one thing we can all do, and maybe it brings you pleasure also.
Yes, repurpose yourself.
Yeah.
So this is something I think it was Max Egan was sharing. We got to learn to be more. We remember to be more simply pleased. And for example, I got up in the morning. Wow, I'm happy. I got 2 arms still. Fuck, I'm doubly happy. Just remember this and just start, pre-paving your day with that. Just simple pleasures. Take them in. Express your thanks, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, Kate, can I ask you a question?
You just did. Ask another one.
Darn it. Anyway, I crossed the bridge today, and the door was wide open, and I saw the green car with no license plate with the smoke coming out the window and the radio blasting, and I had so many things about being on Interstate 60 today that I'm just so happy, and I just couldn't wait to share that.
Interstate 60, you're on it. This is the thing. Once you know
I'm
you're on it, you're on it.
Isn't
it great?
And last night, my wish was like, I just wish I could see the allegories real clear. And then today, everything just happened. And this morning, when I woke up this morning, it was like, you were on my mind. And I was like, that's why I came to the table, because it's the emerald table in the script, and that's why Kate knows why I came to the table, not because I just resonate there. I resonate there because that's in the script to come to the table, and that was just like the start of the day.
I love this so much. I got to tell you, last night watching a movie and with Miri, and it was so funny. What we were watching, Breakfast on Pluto. You want to see my story? Watch Breakfast on Pluto tonight. Cool. At one point, I guess it was about 3/4 of the way through, Mary was just laughing, and these are very relevant things to me that I knew were speaking directly, because everything does. It speaks directly to you. It has to. You'll just see it from your perspective. But every movie is telling you everything. All your clues are there. But she started laughing at a point, and I just looked at her and said, "You're watching my movie, aren't you?" And she goes, "Yes, I'm watching your movie." See, I love watching other people's movies while I'm watching mine, and it's just beyond bliss. It really is. Well, and I got to tell you, hon, you're pedal to the metal, and all you got to just every time if you ever have a doubt, okay, here's what you say: get the visual of Aladdin and Jasmine, with Aladdin standing on the magic carpet off the balcony,
the magic carpet ride.
Read to Jasmine, and he says this one sentence: "Do you trust me?" And all you have to say is
that
yes.
was what did it last night. You granted it just by saying that, and everyone has just been giving me all these clues, There's Michael and the sun, and then there's Colin, he's made manifest, and there's so many voices. All the voices at the table have just been telling me, and I just didn't see it. And then this morning, I just wanted to get dark, and I finally got the whole house to myself, and my little granddaughter, she's the Christ, the Capricorn, and she's all, Grandma, you're going to get pulled over because you don't have a license plate and you burned your ID. And I'm all, well, that's in your script. That's not in my script. And I said, nope, it's not in my script. And her mom just looked at me, and she never be quiet, and they were just totally silent. It was so funny. There were so many things today. And someone called for Jimmy, and that was another thing. And they were saying something about some health thing. I'm like, well, he left the planet in November. I don't know what to tell you. And she was like, well, I'll call you back.
Okay, now I'm going to ask everybody this question. Why the fuck would I want to talk about legal and bullshit? Okay, seriously. This is like way more, this is living. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. My heart was pounding so hard, and I was like, I had your number, and I wanted to call anyone that was at the table, and I was like, but I have so many notebooks with so much writing, and I'm like, but when I wrote it down, I was like, I'm never going to call Kate, within today. I was like,
why not?
I don't know. That's just what I thought when I was writing it down. Because,
why, you don't like me? You think I'm hard
to talk
to?
But no. I'm so glad you threw so many things at me. I was like, oh, that's so fucking smart. That's just great. I just get it so much now.
I am the horse of Babylon to ride out of here, and I'm going to tell you why. Because I am that nagging thought in the back of your mind telling you, wake up, you're God, wake up.
And that little timid deer is like, just, all good now. It's like, I put that away because that was one of my other things I needed to get over, and it's nature, so it's like, it's not yours, so, that's good. And it's like, sweet.
Wait, please, tell everybody how magical it is when you see it. Is it stunning or what?
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. It was just so much just...
Here's a question for you. Here's one for you. Yeah. How tough is it to see it now that you know how?
Oh, no, it's not tough. You just look for the green signs, and I wrote down so many clues, so, the green signs were just everywhere today. And,
but now you know how to find it. How tough is it to find it? It's not. When you get there, it's like, oh my God, how did I miss this?
Right, and then with the clues, and knowing just the short breaking down of the phonics, I started to get it, and I'd be walking on Silver Street, or I'd be doing this, and I'd be like, oh yeah. And then as soon as I'd look up, an emerald car would go by, and I'd be, or the yellow cab, that yellow cab that one night. It was like, oh yeah, there's the cab, and it was like, put the little furry three-headed bastard thing to sleep with Kate's songs, and that's what worked. It was just so perfect.
Now, here, and I love having conversations with others that know how to see the road. Now that you know where it is, and you know how much fun it is, can you tell everyone how hard it is to find it, or yet, how important was understanding how to respell a word in phonics? How important was that?
Oh, that was it. That was the key.
That's the key.
That was the key. Yeah, I knew that was the key a few weeks ago, but I still didn't have it quite turned.
Right on.
Turned just, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, you got it. It was just so funny. Oh gosh. Getting chewed out by my little granddaughter, she's a little bit. You're going to jail.
This is the shit I'm talking about, guys.
Even little kids they're just so funny, and they're like, well, we don't have to be scared of cops anymore because Grandma keeps sending them roses. I'm like, yeah, you don't, because they used to run in the house and hide every time.
Okay, for all you people out there that think you actually have a legal problem, pay attention. You'll learn something here. The only problem you have is the one you're creating for yourself. It's friggin' hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so great.
Now, these are the kind of shows I'd rather be doing. You know, let's talk about how to find the road, how to be on it, what you find when you're on it, and then you just giggle like a 12-year-old schoolgirl. It's fucking amazing.
Oh, my gosh. Yep. Yeah, it's just, I remembered how when I was little, I used to write all these books about creating all these weird planets with all these little weird creatures, and my sister used to always say, I wish you still had that book you wrote when you were in, I don't know, 3rd grade or some grade, and I was like, why? She's like, I love those stories. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been creating worlds all the time, and I've always been doing that, and I just never looked at it.
Well, again, you see, do you know what I love listening to right now? Because I know exactly where you are. You're just doing that float right in between. You're in middle. You're in what I'm calling Middle Earth. You've found the middle road between the orange and the green, right? That's the white, the peace, the surrender, right?
Oh yeah.
And I already shared the headline the other day with the silver and the gold, right? The Canuck duel, right? Yeah. Yeah, we can make this up, but why bother?
I already did.
It's already written.
I can't remember any at the moment. We were going to bring sayings to the table and pick them apart. But
that's right.
I have another idea. All over the world, people sneeze, and we have these kind of pat responses. I want to come up with our own. I want to come up with something different. I was thinking of this the other day. Like if someone sneezed, you go, whoop-de-doo, or something funny.
Yeah.
That'd be good. So D funny that. Whoop. W.
Yeah, you got the bug, isn't it? You can't put it into words, neither can I. You just got to be there.
No.
And when you're there, you're going, oh my God. Here's another question. Can anyone get your goat now? No.
No.
I just sit and reflect back and I watch all the... I collect goats all the time now. Well, I'll take that, thanks. You don't know what to do with it, so I'll take it, thanks.
True that. Hey, I've been listening to you for 2 months now, Kate, and I'll tell you that there's a lot of new listeners here that got to get into your readings and probably start from the very bottom of your page of writings. And I probably have assembled 15 or so of your writings, and I totally got it after maybe 5 or 6 of your writings and being the imaginary self and everything like that. But I'll tell you, being a gung-ho Bronco fan leading up to discovering you with the Super Bowl, I after the first failed snap, I kind of dropped the F-bomb, but after that, I just became the mirror, and it didn't faze me, and it was it put everything into perspective because that didn't control my emotions anymore. What transpired being a Bronco fan, it didn't affect me. And I started laughing, and my in-laws and everybody were laughing at me, and they're freaking out. And I'm just like, there's another time for me to get into this, why I am the way I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, the two teams are both the states that have legalized pot, and that's why they had a Super Bowl.
I know, big bowl. Let's smoke a big one, boys and girls.
And that we did. But,
oh man, here's a question for you guys. Now, because I say this all the time. Before anyone comes and wants to call me and talk to me, and I've had a few people call that haven't done that, and you can always tell because it's like it goes circular real quick, and I'm laughing. Not at it's just a situation of, you know, the questions that you're asking are already answered, and you just got to get there. But here's what I'm going to ask you guys. From the first essay all the way through. Remember, these are just downloads. Okay, I'm part of you. This is your thoughts that are being conveyed.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you notice Yeah. Did you notice a profound difference before and after you read?
Oh, most definitely. And and it was it just resonated. It tickled the spine. You know.
That's all I'm asking.
Got goosebumps going. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're a joy to read. I read them over and over.
Now you.
I wish I had that much time on my life to read over and over, but I don't in a daily, weekly occurrence.
Well, let's let the cab driver decide that. If you want more time, just ask. He'll take you there. She, whatever. It doesn't matter. Seriously, yep. I got it. I can't even begin to tell you guys. It's like, on the way up here as well. Of course, it's on Highway 9, right? Consciousness Highway, Interstate 60,
like
right?
Your phone number turns into 9. Yeah. I
know, it's funny as hell, eh? So I'm driving along, and I see the flashing lights up ahead. So, a cop's got a guy pulled over, and I'm going, you can't make this shit up, right? So he's got, as I go by, I'm just laughing. Here's a cop with the trunk open, and he's got his head in the trunk, and I'm thinking, well, at least I know where the bodies are going. Climb in, buddy. Get your own free will choice. You open the trunk, jump on in. There you go. And it is. It's funny, and it's amazing how puffed up people get when you just throw a little bit of at them, and how desperate they are to not be wrong. Well, you're not. I'm trying to prove you right.
I'll tell you a prime example. I was driving in a no speeding zone in a school zone, and it was right when the lights are flashing, and I was like, I better start slowing down. And soon enough, some kid comes wheeling past everybody, vadling through all the traffic, and all of a sudden a cop's behind me, and I'm like, no, you're not. You got the other guy. You're not going to get me. And he pulled to the shoulder and zoomed past me. And I was like, yeah damn straight. Even though I was doing 5 miles over the speed limit at that time, trying to slow down going into the zone. But,
good directing. Director. Well done. See, you can control your movie. You just have to choose your intent. Well, it's like that a few weeks back. I drove along Highway 3. What are the odds? Anyway, and this OPP sport utility vehicle, one of the big tanks I like to drive around in with the plate readers and all the bristling antennas and everything else, comes barreling up behind me. It sits behind me for about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, right? And I had stopped in because on occasion I like to, divulge in a large McDonald's fry because it doesn't affect me, and it's fun. So anyway, so I'm eating my fries, and I'm looking in the rear view. I said, this should be interesting. Right? So I'm just smiling away and going, wait for it, there he goes, and out and around me and took off like a bat out of hell. Which is even funnier because I know those plates are written down, expired. It's no big deal. I got no regs in the car. I got nothing, right? So, and of course, the only thing I'm going to present is the fraud if you want it. But see, that's not even in my movie. The only cops that are ever going to be allowed in my movie anymore are the ones that are coming to help, not the ones that are coming to harm, because the ones that are coming to help are awakened. So that I can have in my movie. I think it would make a really cool scene. I had some awesome, today, Oscar-winning scene. And I got to hand Michael Cutting his due. He got an Oscar for the most deranged customer service, hate-mongering belligerent that cannot accept responsibility for personal choices because he's too busy sitting for a master in my movie. I thought it was beautiful. Big standing ovation here. Let's give him a big round of clap. Credit where credit's due, right? So it was well played,
Played a good character.
Oh, it was great. Character action.
So, Kate, did you remedy your situation with that bank to have some sort of liquidity, whether it be another credit card or anything?
No. The bank account belonged to a friend of mine, so I was doing it third party, detached from the system. So that was a very precarious no agreement, no consent with the bank thread. But it was, for me, in the ethereal, it was enough of a thread. Pure intent, right? So it was enough of a thread because I knew in my heart the banks had to do it to themselves. They're the ones that had to do the final cut.
Yep.
Right? So this is the cutting. That's the cutting room floor, right? So the movie now, Michael Cutting, my call cutting is the cutting room floor stuff. So that just hit the cutting room floor in the bottomless pit. I don't think there's a floor there. But anyway, you know what I'm saying.
It's so perfect.
Oh, it is.
Everything is.
Yeah, it's beyond funny perfect. It really is.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to be telling about this for a while. Oh, I had another interesting. All I've had today were interesting experiences. But anyway, I went to get some gas, and of course, I don't get stressed about anything at all, right? I just kind of, okay, well, I'm supposed to be here, and James has got the wheel. I'm good. I wonder what's coming next. I wonder why I have to be here doing this. Anyway, I had to get some gas, and got the car filled up, and every time I get gas, not every time, but most times I get gas, I think there was some water in the tank, whatever, so when it sloshes around, the car doesn't want to start right on the first take. It'll go, and die, right? So I'm thinking, okay, because, and I know why now, because it's a scene holder to keep me in the movie where I need to be, so I know the driver's got me, so I'm going to leave there exactly when I'm supposed to because James has taken me home, you see. Right. So I don't get flustered about anything. And then, of course, there's something else there that has to be shown to somebody else. So the guy that filled the car up, so I'm sitting there about 5 minutes, and I tried a couple of times, and I said, well, it'll start when James is ready to go, so I'm good. And then the thought hit me, I'm going to get some gasoline antifreeze, because the last time it happened, I put some gasoline antifreeze in to help dispel the water and in the tank, and lo and behold, as soon as I put it in, fired up. So I went into the station and asked him, do you have any gasoline antifreeze? So it was a couple of bucks. So I said, here you go. And he said, I'll put that in for you. And now he was a little bit, and of course the gas station is BB. I shit you not. But anyway, I go there all the time when I'm down that way. I know, eh? Talk about a BB gun. But anyway, so I go out and I sit in the car and the hatching or the little cap again. So he pours it in, and no sooner do I hear the click, 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 click of the gas cap tightening, I hit the key and it fires up right away, right? Because he'd heard me try to start it a bunch of times, right? And literally, just as soon as the click stopped, I fired the car up. And because I told him, I says, well, I know my car, and and I know other things too, but I just did it that. And he had this kind of demeanor about him that wasn't really, of course, I'm a trainee, right? So it's like, I wonder what this is, right? Which had to be even funnier sitting across from Michael Cutting. It's like, oh my God, you've never had this before, right? Not only are you getting your ass handed to you, but by a trainee, no less. But it's funny. Anyway, you see the comedy in the movie, guys. It's freaking hilarious. I'm going for the best comedic actress role here, okay? So as soon as it fires up, he goes, wow, that's amazing. You really know your car. And I says, no, I love my car. It takes me everywhere I want to go, and you have a great day. And as I'm driving out, I'm going, the Honda horn, right? Meep, meep. It sounds like the Roadrunner. so I think, but I know why now, because this guy had to experience something amazing. That's why. So I'm going, cool, that's what it was. Because I'm always looking for, what's the punchline? What's the punchline, right?
Why you're there, yeah. Yeah.
So don't hurry the joke up. Wait for the punchline, and you will laugh. And I did. I always do. But anyway, so there was another neat little experience today. Anybody else? Jump in. This is too much. Oh, I got to do an announcement while we're on the air part. I'm hanging out. I've got normally one show tomorrow, but I've got two shows going on. One, of course, from what time is it? What is it? 1. You know what? I think I only have one show tomorrow because here, let me just go to Johan. Johan Oldenkamp is interviewing me tomorrow, and it looks like 1 p.m. my time, so 1 to 3 p.m. So it looks like I only have one show tomorrow with Johan. So I'll have to let Paul know. Maybe he can throw a podcast up, a previous recording or whatever, which is a good idea because I think the last week we've had some pretty killer, insight shows with everybody, and I think those are really worth, sharing again. So I think that's great. So 1 p.m. tomorrow, I'm on with Johan Oldenkamp, and I have to go to you didn't put the link in here. It's in my email, so I'll crack that open and share that. And don't call me during the show, guys. Here, I'm going to take a call, okay? So talk amongst yourselves for a sec.
Well, hi.
Hi.
Who's this? I'm Colin, and I was the one talking about the speed trap in the school zone. But I have another story to tell you. It's kind of funny. I was driving down I-25, and I zoomed past a cop, and so he circuitously started following me, and he followed me for 8-10 miles. But he never pulled me over because I just kept on thinking, no, we're not going to go there. You're not going to pull me over. And I just went 5 miles over the speed limit, and I'm not worth your time of day. And there's something else that you should be doing other than trying to pull me over. And sure enough, he never pulled me over. And it was just the intent that I had, that I put out there, that normally when there's a cop behind you for that kind of distance, you worry, and your fear kicks in. You have all these, your body changes, you start sweating, and I didn't show that. I just kind of put my right arm over the passenger's headrest and just kicked back, and I was like, dude, if you want to pull me over, whatever, but there's something more worth your while to go after than me, I assure you.
Check it out. So we have these experiences where we have some potentially fearful moments where we get clearer and centered, like you did, and control write your script. What I like to try and remember is how we're doing that in other aspects of our life, as our day unfolds. We're doing the same thing always.
We are, and for a lot of people, it's like, how can I make this deal go down so that I could pay for my rent and pay for the car and pay for my bills? A lot of us are month to month, and some of us are chasing the big deals. Some of us are going after what kind of deals, or just working 9 to 5, making your salary.
Can I let you in on
and I've always been in sales, and sales
hang on,
I can control everything.
Hello. Let me jump in here, because you're doing exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. You see, you're trying to drive the cab. This is Interstate 60 I'm talking about. The more you want to interfere in thinking that you have to do this and have to do that, what you're doing is writing the alternate script. It's going to turn the meter on. I put the meter on in the car for the banking system on the way back up here. Their meter's running now. It's going to cost them. So what I'm saying about the yellow brick road is, why are you worried? You see, don't plan anything. The higher you already knows the way there. This is the yellow brick road. This is the Interstate 60 I'm talking about. You got to just let it go. And you just let it go and just ask yourself, your higher self, do you trust me? Or your higher self is asking you, do you trust me? And I'm saying, yeah, you're goddamn right I do. This is friggin' awesome. and that's what I'm saying, is no more directing the cabs, guys. When you think that you have to do this and have to do that, what you're doing is minimizing your godness. You're minimizing everything that you are. And it is as simple as Aladdin is asking you, do you trust me, Jasmine? And Jasmine says, yeah, and she gets on the magic carpet. And away they go, and that's the magic carpet. But you've got to answer yes. Do you trust me? To yourself. And yes, of course I do. I'm the only one I could ever trust in my entire existence. Isn't that funny how that works? Right back to self again. So you don't have to worry about sales, this and that and the other. This is the leap of faith of trusting yourself in that the universe will have everything for you. And I've been through the mill to get here. So I'm speaking from like the most incredible experience of ripped and stripped to zero. And here I am. I mean, who the hell else is going to find that road?
And I've been there too, Kate.
Then you don't need to script anymore, is what I'm saying. So this is where I know that this is the hardest pill to swallow, because it is so unbelievable. And that's the game, to see if we'll still bite into the believing that it can't be real. I don't anymore, because I know it is.
Yeah, that's why I was so lucky. Jimmy was such a gambler that he just gambled everything.
I love it.
I'm like, it took me a while. I didn't really ever care that much about stuff anyway, but it's like now it's just so perfect because I have no possession and I love it and I'm free and I just stay here, stay there, but I always get to listen to the radio show. So that's my main thing. And I'm going to learn the piano and go to the ocean pretty soon. I'll be traveling there because I saw a license plate and it said 59, XX marks the spot 59. So I was born in 59. So
there you go.
The top of the license plate said Fortuna, and I always loved Fortuna. And my daughter lives in Eureka, so I'm going to be going that way.
Eureka.
I'm excited. Eureka.
Fortuna. Now you're going to tune your reality. It's beautiful. And when you finally see it from the eyes of a child, you really get it. And it's not an easy thing to explain to people, and it's even harder for people to accept it. Here it is. O.W. Grant. Remember Neil in the car? I mean, he actually had the 8 ball to ask questions of, right? So it was still stuck in the physical. And what did he do with it? He finally threw it away. He didn't need it. Yep. And if you notice, at the end of that movie, it ends with every desire of his heart. He got to be the artist. This is what I'm saying. When you can let go, when you have nothing to lose, when you have lost everything, when you have nothing to lose, now you have nothing where all things are created to gain.
Yep, so fun. And
your canvas.
I was at Walmart and getting some medicine, and I went just to walk around while I was waiting for it to get ready. And I looked, and they had the 8 ball, and I just looked to see how much it cost, and it was $7.77.
Yeah, see, God again. There you go.
Yeah, and I said, am I really on Route 60? And it said, yes, from where I can see.
Is it interstate or Highway 60?
It's Interstate 60.
60 never exist anywhere for any kind of route, road, highway, or interstate.
I'll tell you what. Here's what it is. It doesn't exist on any physical map, and you'll find it between 5 and 7. How many times do you hear me talk about the calculator with broken 5s and 7s? Right? So Interstate 60, the is C key T, or say key T, or psi key T, the spirit of life and love. That's when you are the is. And that's where the genie is. You are the genie. And you have already created the masterpiece of masterpieces, and you've played the game to the point where you've had all of these things come at you where you've made it so hard to believe. So when you do see it, you go, that's unbelievable, because it's true. Of course it's unbelievable.
Next question then. The guys, the screenwriters that write this, do they know?
No.
Or do they just just like a fart in the wind chance that it is where we are at now?
Brilliant question. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to answer it with a brilliant answer, because here's the joy of it. You will only see these things when you are aware enough to see them. So to these writers, they were just a story. To like The Matrix, the Wachowski siblings, right, that did it. I heard the interview when they were talking about it.
Oh, it was a black chick that actually sued and won against the Weisenberg. She wrote literal. I don't want to know. I know. I get it. It's all good. Yeah. Stay in the movie, right? So what they were talking about had nothing even remotely close to how I visualized The Matrix. And they directed it from a completely different perspective than what I would see it. And they were still seeing it just as a story. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Hey, have you seen the Animatrix?
The what?
The Animatrix? The Animatrix? The
no, I haven't.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, well, again, it's what resonates with you. I only deal what James deals into my now.
Well,
right?
James will deal it.
If I get there, sure.
Beautiful, yeah. You're like.
Yeah, and I saw a movie, and it was called The Incredible Now, and it was just the emerald green case. It was so pretty.
So to answer your question, as far as were they aware of it, they knew they wrote something, but they weren't aware of what they were writing, and that's the art of God being not God, and these are the proofs that you are the all-knowing God, because you're going to write the story to follow it. It's a beautiful, beautiful singularity. It's like every one of my songs that I've written, they're all prophecies. I know that. When I listen to like the opening song, Only Hearts, okay? When I listen to that, no, it has nothing even close to what I wrote it about. Mm-hmm. And why I wrote it. It was an online chat. This is years ago. Back before Skype and all the rest of this. It was just like one of these little chat rooms. And I said to someone, I'm a songwriter, and they said, "Oh yeah, prove it." I said, "Well, I'll write you something right now." And they said, "Okay." So I wrote Only Hearts. I actually had to contact someone to copy. I didn't even know how to copy and paste. So they copied and pasted and gave me the lyrics back, and I put music to it as soon as I got it, and then I recorded it. And there it is. That's the intro song. Now tell me only or one hearts, and that's the hear love, hear tea, right? Tell me I had that notion when I was writing it. I didn't, but I wrote it anyway. But it has different meanings at different levels of awareness. That's what it means to have the eyes to see. When you see it differently, it's still the same thing. You've just shifted your perspective on the same thing. It's the same orange or the same apple, but instead of just looking at it from one side now, everyone's walking around this apple and having a real good look at it until they see the whole apple and go, "Oh my God, that's an apple. I didn't know it was a full apple until I went right around and looked at it." And that's the same effect with everything that Colin, everything that anyone has written, go back and read it again with your new eyes. Did you mean to write that when you wrote it? No, but it certainly is telling you the truth now, isn't it? Because you always knew. Yeah. You just weren't aware. That's the game. This is the game of not knowing coming back to all knowing.
Yeah, life is no longer plumoxical.
What's that?
That must be like the experience when you're reading back from old journals.
Yeah, you're
telling you.
Yeah, it's the thread of 3D, as I call it, THREAD, 3D. So what we're finding are the threads, the 3Ds, that are remanifesting. And I know there are many more people now that can fully get what I'm going to say here. It is a magical kingdom, and you're seeing it with the eyes of a child for the very first time in a very long time. And how beautiful is it?
It's gorgeous.
Now, next question is, ask me why I don't want to hear any monkey chatter legal shit. Go ahead, Adaria. I think
it's boring.
It's boring.
It's really boring.
I'm in the game here, so but all the mics are open. I just opened the 661 Cal number. I'm just wondering. It was Sandy that called me. Didn't realize I was on the air, so I asked her to call in on the show. Wants to have a chit chat. So this is why I do this every night. Call in and hang out. This is, to me, it's just a phone call, and we have likely millions listening. This is our consciousness coming together. How happy are you? I'm ecstatic. I think it's beautiful.
I am. It's so exciting.
I would really like to know how to move forward and where we're going collectively. I'm kind of tired of listening to stories and talking and semantics and stuff like that. I kind of want to know, what can we do with this now? Where can we go together? What is the next step?
Well, you need to write your own story.
What the next step is doing exactly the opposite of what you just did.
It's in conclusion of what you want it to be.
Yeah, look at what you want and tell your cab driver to take you there. And trust that it will. And it will. I promise you it will. But you've got to have the faith in yourself, the higher God, you. This is what it means. So if you think you need to do something, then you're actually fighting your own program. Instead of saying, oh, that's what I want, that's kind of cool, that would be fun, no trespass and free will choice of anyone, universe, make it work this way, James, take me there. And there's no stress, there's no fuss, there's no muss. I'm not kidding.
And there's a lot of things that people need to realize. You're probably self-indulging yourself too much in a negative of any kind of website that's out there, and I could name 20 of them, and we've all been there. RMN, Ascension, whatever it might be, and it doesn't matter because everything that's there is, they don't know what we know now, but they're gonna know because you don't have to participate there. You don't have to type it and do the drop-down window of your window to go into that website anymore, because we are going to create what we want. They are going to get there. They're going to get there eventually. We don't have to worry about them. We don't have to worry about the New World Order. We don't have to really worry about what they're doing to us, because if you allow chemtrails to poison you, you're going to be fucked up. If you say, I am impervious to everything and anything that's coming at me, you're going to be.
Well, here's the allegory.
You are God.
Here's the allegory of chemtrails versus contrails. And it's telling you in the logic, it is telling you exactly what it is. It's not a physical thing. If you are at physical effect to it, well, that's because you're still working with the program.
Psychological ploy to fuck with you.
Okay. Well, chemtrails means black trails. So look for the darkness. Get within instead of being conned with contrails. And everyone thinks contrails are good and chemtrails are evil. Do you see the polarity here? Look at fluoride. Everyone's got you thinking that fluoride, I have, is a bad thing. I don't know about you, but there's a lot of crazy people out there that I want to be a little bit more docile with a fully calcified pineal so that they can actually crack open. And look at everybody fighting their own awakening. Oh, fluoride is bad, Hitler. And all this shit that goes along with it. Look at you bought the hook. Here, it's like I was saying to Art and Angus earlier. It said, this guy in the bank today. I went in with my full tackle box. I threw every lure in the book at him, and he swallowed every one of them, hook, line, and sinker. I want to make sure that when that thread was cut, it's going straight to the bottom of the bottomless pit. It really, again, you mentioned bin before it's news. I've told people in the past that, if I want to check on the real headline, I go to the garbage. I always check the garbage before I go to bed, right? Just to make sure what's out there, the bin. And then I look at a few of the headlines, and then I transmute them into my interpretation under common with me law, and then I send it back into the toroidal field, and lo and behold, the next day I wake up and look, it worked. Of course it does. And this may sound so surreal, but then again, what's the most difficult game a god can play is playing the one where they think they're not.
Hide and seek.
Hide and seek with yourself. Tag, you're it.
Well, that and the other allegory of his nemesis being Lucifer or Satan or whatever. And if you believe in that being in existence, shit like that will come about. But I kind of look at it. Yeah, and I don't have that in my makeup. I mean, it's like the greatest secret is that he never existed. And yeah, there you could go and watch the Grammys and say differently, but guess what? They're part of the vine that's dying. We're blooming, and you just got to believe in it, because you are gonna create what you believe in, and you are gonna control a cop behind your ass and say, no, you're not, because I'm the director of this movie.
So did you have a great day, Let's go back to creation itself. In the beginning there was the word, and that word was a dot. And what this is how I see creation within me, is I had to visualize that dot and hold it there and hold it and hold it and hold it until I didn't have to think about it anymore. And then it just became. And then I added another dot. And then I put those together. And what we're dealing with in this reality right now, and it is a long time to build a game. I think we've done rather well, don't you? I thought so too. And what you're looking at are all of these dots suspended in the mind to create this physical, real, feeling reality. And we're just playing the game. This is our game grid. This is our video game where we come and play. And of course we want to have fun, but we have a sense of purpose because we created it all. And if you knew you created it all at all points, there's no game. How boring is that? When we got to the point where we built the game enough, and it was self-perpetuating.
We'd all be the exact same person.
Right. So that's why we all have different points.
We'd be in Lakesh physically, and every kind of everything about us would be in Lakesh. We would be seeing ourselves in a mirror, no matter what. And that life like that would be extremely. God, that'd be hell.
Sure it would. That's why heaven is hell and hell is heaven, right? And vice versa. You know, this is where we see two completely opposing truths working in singularity, where you can say one line and it can mean the positive and the negative depending on how you look at it. And because we are all consciousness, we need at different points of view to see both sides of this so we can play a game. You know, when we spent this long to build a universe as vast and as large as it is, it's going to take us infinity to explore it. From all these different points of view. We'll never be bored again. We certainly won't be lonely. Hell, you know, when you think about it, the one, it's all about masturbating. All sex is masturbating with yourself in a different point of view. Yeah. It's freaking funny as hell. It's beautiful. I love me.
Not bad as well.
You know, but try telling a customer service rep this. Forget it. Don't worry, Michael. We'll come back for you sometime. Won't be for a while, though. It's all good. Enjoy your game. I'm good. Been there. Done that. Moving on. Oh, man. It's too funny.
I agree with that. That's funny, masturbating with you, because that's kind of funny. I mean, that's kind of how it is. I mean, because whether we're going to admit it or not, it's you know, you're going to think of someone else sometimes if you've been with that person for a long time, and it's like, you know,
it's you anyway.
Hey. Yeah,
it's a different point of view. That's all it is. Now, and look what religion did. Oh, masturbating's bad. They definitely want to take you away from the. That's the true reality of it all, guys. And here's one for the new cagers. You can throw this. Anyone that's hanging out in those rooms and stuff, throw this one out at them. Can we all agree that all are one? And of course, yeah, we do have love. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, if we're one, who are we having sex with anyway? Ourselves.
You, yourself, and I?
Yeah, the Trinity. So, lose the hang-ups. You know, this is why I now look at all these people that are, say, homophobic or whatever, and especially the churchianity types. Oh, my God. You know, you know what? They disallowed, what was it? Sex standing up in Jehovah's Witnesses, eh? Well, because it might lead to, it might lead to dancing.
But Leah's funny. Gotta love all the giggles.
My mom was Jehovah's Witness. We went door to door and all that stuff.
Your giggle is
talk to Santos about that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. It's Mystic. Another. We have so much fun talking about this. It's great. But again, I look at it only from the anagogic. I don't get caught up in the literals. I just see them as the examples of the spiritual reflection. That's all. And it is, when you start seeing it like this, it is beyond funny. Go fuck yourself. Well, what do you think I'm doing? Now, the next time someone says, go fuck yourself. Yeah, right? I said, I already am.
That is nice.
And then you'll see that deer in the headlights look and a scratch in the head. Oh, I wonder what they meant by that. It's okay. Wake up. Wake up, William. Wake up. Oh, man. Fuck, it's funny. You know, when you really get it. Yeah, go ahead.
I guess I'm trying to understand my point and purpose for listening to because I'm not quite sure when I'm supposed to say anything. I'm not feeling inspired. I'm just hearing things that I already know. I feel like there's people are consumed with the game of semantics and breaking things down, but it's like, for me, silence is golden. I don't really need to, I feel it inside, and I guess the reason why I'm here is to connect with other people and to co-create. And it doesn't feel like anything's being co-created. It just, I don't know why I'm putting my time here.
I assure you it's being co-created, and you can spend your time anywhere you want. It's entirely up to you, my friend. You can come here, the door's open. There isn't a door. I've said that before. You walk in or walk out. It's all good. And if you don't have anything that you're getting here, then go away for a little while and see if you actually miss it. You know, again, the only one that can answer those questions for you is you. I can't answer them for you because I see my reality shifting in such amazing ways every instant of the day.
I agree. And that happens when I'm in the moment, like when I'm out doing things or when I'm going to the nursing homes, playing piano for the old people. That's my service.
Perfect. Live your life, live your dream. Just know that the driver, the higher you that's actually driving the game, you're having the experience. And just have that's the Christ consciousness experience, where you can be the neutral observer, or you can get right in deep and dirty and play all these silly little sandbox games and get dirt under your fingernails. It's up to you. I just stepped out, that's all. And now I'm observing this beautiful creation of ours, and I'm watching everything manifest because it already is. Everything that you could ever imagine has already been imagined.
It's like you're inside the time machine.
And that's key, is manifest. And that is the word that he needs to realize every time he's playing the piano. Is you're manifesting.
And I do,
creating.
But I want to co-create with other people. I feel kind of lonely. I feel like everybody else is just doing their robotic thing, doing their little monkey dance, but they're not present. They're not here. They're not seeing what is or could be created.
Okay. Okay, you're putting limitations on others, all right? Observe them from the contrast perspective. Instead of looking at them, well, they should be doing this or they should be doing that, or I'm not getting interaction with these people. Instead of looking at it, try this one on. See how this feels. Look at them from the contrast position of, I was there once. Now I know where I am on my own ladder, and then when you climb yourself, the rest will climb with you. Without expectation, it's already there. All you have to do is accept it. Accept all things in. And do your magic. Like I said, it's probably a good idea if you step away from the table for a week and see if you miss it.
Can I make a suggestion to the piano player?
Sure.
When you go play piano, if you don't already, what I would suggest is that you make sure and sit with as many of those folks as you can, because a lot of them have very valuable experiences that they can share with you, and then their experiences will live on in you, and you'll be able to carry that on and share it further, instead of it, just being filed away in an old folks' home and going away.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I've realized that the deeper truth is that the greatest gift that you can give someone is just your time and presence, just to be present to their life and what they are.
Yeah, let them storytell after the song resonates with their memory recall of some of their best moments in life or something, and try to get them to come up to the piano as you're playing a song that they requested, and ask them why it was that they requested it, and have them tell a story guideline within it.
That would be beautiful. Yeah, do you obviously play songs that they perhaps know if they're elderly?
Actually, I don't. I just channel. I let it come through me in the moment. It's always different. I never know what it's going to be.
Fair enough. Well, I say, well then, why don't you invite them in? Okay?
Yeah. Be more transparent through others.
Yeah, try to get them to be involved with you. Because I tell you, I got to tell you, there was nothing I love more than interacting with the audience. Nothing I love more. I made deliberate attempts to make sure I was, if there was a stage that I was on the floor with them, that I always made that conscious effort to include everybody in. and get their feedback. So I wasn't just playing for people, I was playing with people. So maybe try that on. Pick up, if you've got elderly people, maybe pick some tunes out of the 40s and 50s, a couple that will inspire these people to want to be interactive. Because here's the thing, for me, if people don't want to interact with me, it's because I'm not open to letting them. That's why this table is wide open. I want people interacting with me, and you've heard me countless times saying it's just a phone call. Call in. Don't be shy. Don't put me on any fucking pedestal, because I'll take a chainsaw to it. I'm you. We're one. We're equal. No one above, no one below. The stage is level. And the more level you can make your stage, the more people will be able to walk on it. So that's why my stage is level. Everyone can walk on this one. You can even bring a quadriplegic, deaf mute in a wheelchair on my stage because there are no stairs. You see, that's why all are welcome in my world. And I've always made a point of that. And maybe try that perspective. That may be something that will bring these people out where you're going to hear and I got to tell you, I told you guys the Bayou Lullaby story, yeah? Or do you want to hear it? It's a musical story. I think you'll really appreciate it.
Go for it.
Okay, here. This is going back to 1990. I think it was 99, 98 or 99. It was the first time I was down in Nashville. A friend had set up a gig for me down there, and I went down, and her and a friend worked at a nursing home, ironically enough, and. I was asked. They asked me, "Would you be so kind? There's a lady that's been here for 20 years. Would you be willing to maybe bring your guitar up and play a few tunes for her?" And I said, "Absolutely." I had like 4 hours to kill before the show, so I actually surprised them by showing up at the nursing home. They were expecting me there, and that's when they asked me. So I said, "Sure, no problem." So I went up to this lady's room, beautiful elderly woman, and she'd been bedridden literally for 20 years. And she was from the South. I think it might have been Georgia. That's what's ringing a bell with me. But it was irrelevant to me. So I played a bunch of songs for her. And I said to her, "Well, listen, I have to go now, but I've got one song I want to play for you." And I said, you're from the South, and this was a song I wrote, and in this lifetime I had never been to the South, and Bayou Lullaby was that song. And I thought, well, I wanted to play this for you, to give you my vision of what I thought the South was. And I played Bayou Lullaby. And at the end of it, I'm getting goosebumps right now. It never fails when I tell this story. She looked at me and she said, "Thank you, child. That was the first time I've been home 20 years." And she actually knew. You should have seen the room. I mean, people from all over the hospital. They wheeled people in, and the place was. It was just one room. Hall was packed, and everything was packed. And as it turns out, local Nashville reporter was there. So I guess someone had called him in, and they came in, took a shot of me and the lady, and it was in the newspaper that night. And 3 months later, she passed away. But I'll tell you this right now. The magic of that moment was I got to go on a journey with her, just me and her, home.
Human interaction.
And I'm like right now, the charge that is running through me, the energy, the pure love energy of that moment still lives with me. And I got to tell you, my friend, there's nothing I would wish more for you to have than that. That's when the song hits home, because it takes you there. So take someone home with you. Better yet, let someone take you home with them. That's where I went that day. I went home with her. It was beautiful. Musician to musician.
In Lakesh.
Yeah. Some of the most cherished moments for me in my life involve music to such a level, and it's not about woo stage moment. Oh God, I'm fan. No, nothing to do with that. Those were fun, yes, granted, but it was moments like that I cherish to the deepest depths of my soul, because it was a pure connection. We got about 17 minutes to roll over. I'm not sure how long I'm going to go tonight, guys. Did a bunch of drive today, and I just like to kind of zone out. But a great big thank you to Paul Giovanni at criticalmassradio.co.uk, Ninja, everybody, Freeman Rob, everybody, and all of you guys that make the station possible at all, chipping in, intending, all of it matters. All of it does, with the purest intent. And I can't thank you guys enough. If you want to help out, really easy, criticalmassradio.co.uk. You can subscribe just to be a part of it, or you can donate or subscribe, £1, £2, or £3 a month, or donate, whatever the case may be. Everything there is free. Just subscribe, and everything's available to you anyway. All the podcasts, everything. Truth does not have a price because you are useless. I'm doing my best to get that out, and I know Paul and the rest of the team are doing the same. The heart's in the right place, and that's why you guys are here, because your heart's in the right place. So thank you for that. And we do this together because now, well, it's our turn, and we're playing. Anybody else?
I like it.
Go ahead, keep going.
Very good. I would like to know what happened when I went to volunteer at a nursing home just to take some old music, oldies but goodies, tape cassettes. Volunteered just to sit around a couple of hours so the ladies could sit and pat their feet. And I did that this one particular time, and some of the ladies got up and danced, and some of them remember, they were old Perry Cobo type of music, Andy Williams type of music. I mean, they loved it. And then I asked the lady, can I come back? And she would not allow me to come back again. Why did she not allow me to come back? Why? Can anybody answer that question for me?
Oh, yeah. The last thing they want
did you plant the seed that you hope that... Yeah, I want to ask you this. Did you hope that they'd invite you back again?
Yeah, I wished. I don't do any hoping. I do wishing. I wished that they would, because the people there, the ladies who lived there, they enjoyed it so much. But I left because it was lunchtime. I had done a couple of hours. I went like from 10 to 12, and so I asked the keeper if I could come back another day, since the ladies and gentlemen enjoyed the music so much. Some gentlemen who had been in their room had heard the music and came out and joined in. We were in the community room of the nursing home, so anybody was welcome. And some of the people who had been in their room came into the community room, started patting their feet, wobbling their little heads and shaking from side to side, smiling, all type of good gestures. And then when they got ready to go to lunch, the host, the lady who was in charge, I said, well, can I come back next week? She said, well, I'll call first and see if, because we don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be here in town. But I wasn't going there to entertain her. I was going there to entertain her, the members of the nursing home. But then when I did go back, and sure enough, another lady came to the door and said, I'm sorry, we don't need your services. And I just left. I never did it again. But I didn't understand that. How can you not allow somebody to show kindness to somebody who was not among their family every day? But they did. I couldn't understand.
Because she's like the banker. She's like the banker.
Yeah, she's there to show you the contrast of where you are, hon. So there's no harm, no foul here. You get to see the contrast of what you would never want to be in the guise and in the form of what you are and what you wish to be. It's a contrast. There's no judgment there.
Okay. No, I don't do that judgment thing either, only because I chose Jesus' teachings as a guideline in the things that I do in life. And that's one thing he said, judge ye not, so ye not be judged. So I don't do that judge, but that is very good. Thank you, Kate, for that information.
All about contrast.
Let me know. That was a contrast. Thank you. That's exactly what I needed to know. Thank you, King. I'm going to call the guys tomorrow because I'm at bingo right now, and I got to go back. But I'm going to call Mike and Mark tomorrow and speak with them if it's all right.
Oh, they'd love to have you, Barb. Anytime, hon. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a great big bingo.
Bingo. Okay. That I'm going to do it just for you. Bye. Goodbye.
I love it. Too funny. Barbara Ross, man. You all do. You all do.
We got you.
Yeah, hey.
What was the last one? G9?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It would be B9,
right.
I believe. Christ consciousness?
Oh. You got
Just
me.
a coincidence. Well, B, it would have to be, if it was a 9, it would have to be B. So B9, B consciousness, Christ consciousness, 13. Yeah, you can make this up. Why bother? It's too much fun just watching. All the mics are open, guys, so who hasn't jumped in yet? Jump in. We got 11 minutes till rollover.
Yeah, okay. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Joel calling.
Sorry, who we got?
It's Joel.
Oh, Joel, how are you?
I am really awesome. I tune in on quite a few of the nights and listen in for a while. And I think it's so great because I love seeing the contrast, or rather the decreasing amount of contrast between where I want to be and how I see you talk about your perspective on life. And it's great, co-creating like that. You start seeing everything as an opportunity to move forward with whatever just makes you feel the best ever.
Well, yeah, it's like when O.W. Grant had his bike steamrolled. He didn't get all pissed off. He said, no, I guess I need a new bike.
But for your part in helping keep in the right state of mind, right state of being, it's one of these days I want to come with you and like treat you to like some homegrown sprouts, some homemade muffins, and all this wonderful stuff that I'll put into it.
Anytime, Joel. We go dancing, baby. It's all good.
Awesome.
Just like that.
Hey, Kate, it's Brian. How's it going?
Brian, how are you?
Good. So I'm just at work editing. I just figured I would say hi real quick. It's been a long time since I came on.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Cool. Yeah, I've been listening and stuff. I just haven't been able to call in. So
that's okay. You know what?
Anyway.
Everybody is at the table for exactly whatever reason they need to be. And I'll tell you, if you want contrast, tune into some other radio show that's still stuck in the Matrix, and then you'll get a real handle on what's going on here. It's pretty profound.
I'm noticing one thing here,
Sure.
that every caller who calls, the one that came just before them has the message that the next caller needed. We actually listen back. It's quite amazing. So in your
Funny
case,
how that.
find your message in whatever it was I just said to Kate last.
Yeah, remember, every thought you're hearing, every word that you're hearing are thoughts in your mind, the all mind, and this is how we talk to ourselves, through other points of view. I just chose to listen. What is the rest of my mind telling me? And the things that I don't necessarily agree with, that don't resonate with me, I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's just monkey chatter to me. And then I pick all the things that matter to me that I want to co-create, and that's what I co-create. I put my energy into those things, because if you're putting the energy into, some literal nonsense like a political debate or whatever the case may be, that's what you're creating, and that's matrix. You're still manifesting the same over and over, expecting a new reality. Well, it ain't going to happen if you keep on the same channel and keep hitting replay. You're going to see the same thing over and over. I basically threw the remote away because I don't need it, and my higher self, James, the real driver, has the wheel. And the only way you can get to that driver is by taking over the helm yourself in the physical sense. And then I got to tell you, it was like it was a bolt of lightning when it hit me. I'm on Interstate 60. How cool is that? And it hit me today, like really hit home today, that I'm on Interstate 60. And I'm thinking, now I get it, and now I really, really get it. So sit back, enjoy the ride. Take the steering wheel out of the roller coaster car. That's not helping. You can find a little problem after a couple of the downs, and you try to steer on a roller coaster. That just doesn't work. Really, it doesn't.
Beautiful.
It's amazing. People are, probably ask, why do I do it every night? This is why, because I know this road has always been here. Deep down inside, you all know this. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. You know that there is a higher purpose. You know that you have all power contained within you. To what level you start releasing it is to what level your point of view, as opposed to my point of you, me being you in a different form, different thought, wants to experience. I just changed my point of view, that's all, to wanting to let creation steer me home. It's like the lady, I didn't take her home, she took me home. And that's a beautiful thing to experience. And I could only wish that upon all, because when you feel that, the energy, here it comes again, that comes flying through you as a result of that, will leave you speechless.
Basically, stop resisting.
Well, yeah, there's the resist stance, or resistance, which is the resisting of the mind. Have a look at all the words that have the "ent" or "ents" at the end. Science, conscience, and know that the sound "ent" or "ents" means mind. And you see a whole different thing, like science is spirit mind. And it all comes back to God. All of it. You, the most beautiful essence in the universe. That's the word. That is you. That is who you are. And what brilliant. I think more than anything else, I am just dazzled, absolutely dazzled by the intricacy of the complexity and the simplicity at the same time. Yeah. Singularity is like crazy awesome. And it just keeps getting, like pi. The bigger the number gets after the 3.14287 to infinity, the bigger the number gets, the smaller pi gets. So it's getting bigger and smaller at the same time. That's a singularity.
Weekend, my friend is one of my clients also, and we're going to be working on a song called Singularity. So
nice.
I figured I'd throw it in.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. That's all. Synchronicity.
Excellent. Well, listen, guys, we've got about 5 minutes here. I'm going to roll out tonight again. Not because I don't want to talk to you, but like I said, I just want to get into that peace zone, that little no chatter area, and zone out, and put the attention on my heart's desire, finally, instead of my heart's fear. And that's what we've been doing. We've been manifesting our heart's fear based on a program of literal that has been dumped on us. And that's the game, to see if we can get out of it. Just stop biting on the hooks. Stop biting on the things that are luring you. These are lures that will pull you away from you. This is about cutting all the strings, just like the bank did on the very last tenuous thread today. And watch this world unfold as you wish. If you have conflict in your life, it's because that's what you're wishing for. You may tell me that you're not, but by your actions you are known. If you feel the need to fight, well then expect one. If you accept a fight, well then expect one. I just don't accept the fight. Like this I got to close off with this. This guy today was looking for a fight that he was never going to find, because I was just kind of going, wow, what a contrast I get to experience here of everything I don't want to be and everything that I'm glad I'm not. I have nothing but gratitude for that. Thank you. Oscar granted, Yeah, O.W. Grant. Oscar was granted, It's too funny. So, any last thoughts or words from anybody tonight? And then don't forget, from 1 to 3 tomorrow, I will have it posted on Facebook with Johan Oldenkamp and on his station. And I think it's a 2-hour interview. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun. I love doing interviews with those that are actually, able to do that. And there haven't been many, and I know Johan's one of them, so it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Is it true that Mark Passio's coming to the table?
Yeah, April 23rd. Yep.
Sweet.
Oh, yeah. And Savant tagged me. He wants to get on. I told him any night, so And there's James. James, come on, don't spare the horses. Get over here. Let's have some fun. Because I know James. Savon. He's rocketing right now. I know he is because I am, and so many of you are. So how can we not be rocketing? You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, do you guys want me to close out with a song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you how special you are to me, and because I know this is a song that a few of you like, and I wrote it just for you. And I want you to listen to this song as me, your nagging, bitching thought in the back of your mind, trying to convince you again that you are indeed and in fact God, singing a little lullaby for you. It's not bio. This one is just for you, so I'm going to share You're the Sun to me. So listen to it. I'm talking straight to your heart, and I know you'll feel it because I'm you and you're me. It's pretty simple. I just get it now, and it's really cool. So much love to everybody. I'll finish up with this, and it will roll over a bit. Hey, all good. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll have the links and everything posted on Facebook and on Skype. Much love.
Okay, everybody. Much love.
Love you.
Okay, doesn't want to play. Can anybody hear it?
No.
Let me try it. Okay, because I hit the play, so here we go again. Oh, I know why. Just a sec. Let me turn the volume right down on it. That'll probably help. There we go. And try that. Oops. Not that one. Stupid. Kate, some days. It's all right. I'm Irish and blonde. What's your excuse? Get over it. This is serious radio. Yeah, sure it is. All right. Here we go. Third time the charm. Love you all. Good night.
Ever woke up when it just can't get much better? Feel the sun on your face even when it's rainy weather. When nothing matters just as long as we're together. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. And I can't remember ever feeling like I'm feeling. The clouds all day got me flying, got me reeling. And there ain't no way my heart can be concealing. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. And I find just a little bit more and more each day. Another reason that'll settle in. I know I found my way. All I had to do was look far enough to see. You're the sun to me. My reasons, they won't need explaining. Why I smile all day, even though it's always raining. 'Cause you're the one thing that is constant and sustaining. You're the sun to me. You're the sun to me. All I had to do was look
a matter of fact, yes. Much love to you guys. Talk to you tomorrow night.
Beautiful.
Good night, all.
Night.
The bank, you see, because the bank is a dead corporate entity. It doesn't exist. It's just an idea. No. This is where people have the biggest problem of taking the responsibility for the choices and the words and the effects they create through, I would say, misaligned choices. And even after, and I don't need to get into any details because this individual knows exactly what happened in the conversation today. You see, here's the joy, and I know we're well over 1 million tuned in every night. I know that. I don't care what the numbers say because I know the numbers are fudged with. And I know that they've laxed off a couple of times. You know, thinking that we're not on the air and walk away and go get yourself a beer and smoke a bowl and come back and all of a sudden there's 675,000 people tuned in to a show that started 35 minutes late. That should tell you something, shouldn't it? Not everybody was there. But anyway, so here's the thing I love about doing what I do with truth, knowing that I'm fully impervious to any antics of any customer service rep who is a slave to a master and whose master is a slave to another master, and especially under a dead fictional corporate heading. You see, you cannot create the bank in my universe because I know it's fictitious. I know it's just an idea. I know it's just a piece of paper. It doesn't exist. It's not real. However, the people that are working behind the scenes that have done these things, oh, they're very real, and I know how to own them now. And by the way, I'm really happy that you were so willing to give up your goat today. It was so very easy to do that. All I had to do was plant one little seed. And see, here's the thing about vampires. It works both ways. You have to invite them in. So thank you for inviting me in to your office, where I can drain the very lifeblood of the entire system as a result. Thank you for giving me your goat. I'll give it back when I'm good and ready, because you're not ready for it, and that's okay. And here's the other funny part, too. This is why I laugh at it, all things legal. You see, I'm not a legal entity. Haven't been for a very long time, and I know why. I am full-on God status. And what a beautiful place to be. Interstate 60 all the way. So don't spare the horses, indeed. I got out my number 11 scalp L and scalped the system today. Because here's the irony. In closing that account, what the system did was it cut its own and is trying to blame somebody else for it, you see. Sorry, I know you broke the window, and you can lie all you want, because I can see right through you. That's the nature of Interstate 60. You see, this is where I get to be O.W. Grant. Yeah, there's a big difference, right? That's who you are. You are O.W. Grant. And the other part of you, the doubter, is Neil. And just a coincidence that was his name. This is when you kneel to the truth. And that's exactly what the characters did. When you know how to watch these things properly instead of being entertained, right? Enter the mirror mind. I just chose to step through the thin tin mirror, which is what a tane is, and observe it from the other side. Now, for anyone that's interested, listen closely tonight. If you want to find Interstate 60, I can show you how. It's really, 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 really easy. It is so easy you won't believe it. That's exactly why we've all had so much trouble finding this. And I don't know if I mentioned it yesterday, but Sivan Bomer did get a hold of me yesterday about coming on. I told him anytime, because that's James. Don't spare the horses. Get your ass over here. Let's have a chat, you know? Because I know who the characters are in the movie, and I know who's playing what role, right? So, sorry guys, I just got some noise in the background. I'm having a hell of a time trying to focus here. What was I going to say there? Oh yeah, getting back to Interstate 60. Yeah, and I mean that quite literally. You see, this is where you step out of being the driver of the car, where you change places with O.W. Grant, and you let O.W. Grant do all the driving, and you'll never get out of the car again. Let's talk about what happened today, because I had a lot of interesting experiences today, watching all of the signs as they just told me exactly what's happening and what's going on, and then even funnier, why. And it was perfect, even to the point of watching a cab go past me just before I got back here. DC Cab, right, was the name on the side of it, because it had to be. It's so funny. And, oh, look, the DC Cab is past now. P-A-S-T, not P-A-S-S-E-D. So I will choose which phonetic sound I want to infer into my reality, into my creation. And, of course, James, the driver, is going to drive me straight through that without sparing any horses. So I had a gift sent to me by a very dear friend, and it was a substantial gift. I've already been able to help people, and I'm going to help so many more. This is the joy of transmutation. And
you're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
Good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia. And for all you new listeners tuning in, like, I don't know, someone like Michael Cutting, perhaps, welcome to the table of truth, where we expose all just for shits and giggles, because, damn it, that's what we do. You see, that's the thing about truth. When you stand in it, nothing gets in your way. And you can stand with your hands on your hips and get all angry and have an all shaky voice, but I know that my shield is impenetrable and I am untouchable. You see, because I found Interstate 60. Yes, I did. And I want to share that with you guys tonight, along with some real fun stuff that I experienced today as part of being on Interstate 60, and not only thinking it, but knowing that I was on it. And we'll never leave this road. This is the road home. And for those that are, interested in their God status, just, curl up with a nice blanket or something if you're in a cold area, or out in a lawn chair if you're somewhere hot, or whatever, and belly up to the truth here, because we're going to have some fun tonight as I go through some beautiful allegories as to how the system just cut its last remaining thread over the bottomless pit and shall fall into the nether regions once and for all. Because, we're done with it. At least, sorry. You see, the real me is at the helm now. And all I had to do was trust me. And like I said to myself in the way, anytime I go, it's like, home, James, and don't spare the horses. And for those that have been tuned in for a while, you know exactly what I mean when I say don't spare the horses, right? The horse. You see, I can't, because that would be a trespass on the free will choice to have an experience lesser than what you're probably really wanting, but then you have to be in a state of awareness to know what you truly want. And if you're caught up in the anger and the mirror of how do you put it? This is the thing. Anytime I'm conversing with someone, especially face to face, it's always a situation where I sit mostly in puzzlement of how literal and how deep points of consciousness still are in the game. And really, there is no point in talking with people like this on any level. So I don't cast pearls before the swine, because I just won't get it. You see, because everyone is too wrapped up in having an opinion. See, an opinion is an ego position. I equate it very much like sitting in front of a 5-year-old kid that just got caught breaking a window. The whole idea of not paying it for it, but keeping a mote ion rolling. You see, the universe loves a body in mote ion, not mote shun. And with that, just that little understanding, you will now have reclaimed a fair bit of your spell-casting ability. For those that don't actually get what it is I'm saying, well, you're not ready for it yet. Then don't worry, you will be. You will be. When you're ready, when you choose to find peace and calm. Here's a little word to the wise. I just asked Arthur to add me back to the green room and the lighthouse, the two main rooms. I'm going to give everyone a warning because I don't like monkey chatter. Right? The jaw was broke off that pipe. The monkey pipe that O.W. Grant likes to smoke. And any monkey chatter that I see in the room, henceforth, involving anything legal, involving any processes, involving anyone that is still using legal processes by name or character, you will be instantly and irrevocably removed from the room because, I created these rooms a long time ago. And I am tired of leaving my own room because of the monkey chatter. So here is creation on my terms. If you are part of that and you cannot handle these terms, then I will ask you to simply leave in peace or accept the terms of the monkey chatter nonsense removal because you are keeping yourself and others, more importantly, from Interstate 60. And I'm intolerant of that. You're trespassing on free will choice. Most importantly, and the only one that I'm really concerned with, is me. If you want to step on my free will choice, well, I will show you how creation works. And that's not an arrogant position. That's just merely this. I don't come over to your house and shit on your front porch. So please, don't come to mine. Anyway, getting back to what happened today. It was quite funny. And as many of you know, a very dear friend of mine has been helping me out for a while to make it possible for me to exist in any sense of the word in terms of donations, which you guys have kept me alive for the last year and a half. And as a result of the kindness that Vicky showed in helping me that way, there was that gift that was sent through that of course raised some red flags to the bank because they don't getting debt, especially legitimate debt, you see, because the individual that sent it is one of the most legitimate people I've ever found on this planet with a very pure intent. And I knew that the instant I heard the voice. So let's unfurl the curtain and show what really, really, really is going on. As a net result of this gift, flags went up, and of course, a certain customer service manager, if you want to call it manager, I have no idea. I've never seen such shoddy customer service in my life, especially one who is claiming that, well, we had to send it through the fraud department, and we had to do this and check it for that and check it for the other, only to find at the end of the rainbow that everything was perfectly legit, from a perfectly legitimate source, full honor, to a perfectly legitimate account, for a perfectly legitimate reason, that was of a perfect, none of anyone else's business, but parties concerned. Yet people like Michael Cutting, who has cut the lifeline to the literal banking system today, I'm so grateful. Thank you for that. You know the role you've played. I do. I cast the spells, and I know how to do it. And I changed my reality because that's what O.W. Grant does. And I grant all your wishes, Michael. You see, because even after all was said and done today, see, what's really bothering him right now is the fact that I'm only saying the truth. And he knows. And no amount of belligerence, no amount of arrogance, no amount of tantrum-throwing child that has to turn around with a shaky voice and throw their hands on their hip. I know he didn't hurt himself. I know that. Muffin Top has that effect. You really need to get suspicious, my friend. Sorry, I'm a girl. I notice these things. Anyway, and you have to do something about that shaky voice of yours, because only a child in fear has a voice so shaky. But anyway, as a net result of all the kindness that came flowing towards me, Kate of Gaia, through V and through the contacts and whatever, this customer service entity decided that they're going to close the accounts. Isn't that funny? I guess that just says it all for me, that it proves beyond any shadow of a doubt that the banking world wants nothing to do with legitimate intent. And of course, you know me, I like planting little seeds here and there. I mean, Michael, you don't understand that the very name, the legal name you're using is fraud, and that you are in a spiritual web of deceit, and you are in hook, line, and sinker, you know? And of course, it didn't matter to you the net effect of your choices, you know. And no, I don't have anything against